Akosi Sobi, Mayang Gabi. This is the annual Adlaw ni Lapu Lapu event that we host as Kathara Society. And this year, it's our first online version of this with the whole social distancing uh, that's happening in this time of the global pandemic. And we recently had our kapwa from around the world joined together on a call on the new moon, and brought 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 together like we are today by um, the combined partnership of Kathara Filipino Indigenous Art Society and the Center for Babaylan Studies. So we're very grateful to be working together. We've been working together since prior to 2016 when we hosted the 2016 Babaylan conference. And this is something that we've been marking in the unceded Coast Salish territories of the Tsleil-Waututh Squamish and Musqueam since I think it was around 2014 or 2015. And we've done ceremonies on the land and, invoking the spirit of our ancestral warriors and our strength to stand with our Indigenous hosts on these territories against pipelines. So a few years ago, we did a ceremony at the Watch House on Burnaby Mountain together with the Tsleil-Waututh, who are have a traditional watch house facing towards the where the Kinder Morgan plant was there, where they're building the pipeline, and it was part of an ongoing practice we have to try to find our kapwa, find our connection with the local nations, and show up as from our Indigenous identities. And so this is paramount to our identities with how we were warriors. We had our own traditions that came into the Philippines from various different places that influenced the shape of martial arts. So we have various martial arts throughout the Philippines. I know on this call today, I know in the registration, we saw that there were people that are practitioners, and we welcome all of you who are carrying forward our ancestral warrior arts into this time and making sure that they're not lost from us. And what I'm hoping to do today is just to begin with a bit of storytelling and bring us in with a little bit of background to the story of Lapu Lapu. Some of you may be familiar with our first hero of the so-called Philippines, and but I just want to tell that story in a little more detail, just to look at some things that we can see today that are still a part of that legacy, and find inspiration in that for how you can work that into your own indigenizing and decolonizing. Then we're going to go over to a longtime kasama of Kathara Society, Datu Shishir, and who will be sharing some of the practices that they carry with regards to meditation, hilot, and especially the harnis. And then we will go to our artistic director from Kathara, Babette Santos, who's going to share the Kuntao form of martial arts that is found in the southern Philippines. And then we'll end with a little bit of just reflections and sharing. Some people might want to share about, what they're doing with their martial arts practice, or the things that strengthen them and give them courage, especially during this time of the COVID-19 and the impacts that it's having on all levels in our lives. So with that, I'm going to go towards our, and yeah, maybe, do we have, oh yeah, maybe what we could also do is while we're going here, if you're able to just share in the chat, you know, your name, maybe your pronouns, your the territory you're on, and your part of the Philippines that your ancestors are from, and anything that you might be doing in relation to, you know, Filipino martial arts. So feel free, you know, during this call, you can just add that in, and that's a little participatory thing you can do until we get to the end where we open it up. So yeah, if we could bring on our slides.
Hang tight.
This is JR from Kathara.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing the technical end of things again. And Olivia for helping us as well.
Okay, hang tight. Okay, here we go. Go ahead, Sophie.
Okay, so yeah, it's interesting because yeah, I'm on day 39 of my quarantine, and that's roughly around the time March 16 and 1521 that Magellan sighted the mountains of what is now Samar while on a mission to find a westward route to the Moluccas Islands for Spain. So maybe we could bring up the slide ahead. Yes, actually go one forward. Yeah, so this is an interesting slide. Some of you may be familiar. I have been keeping a Visayan culture research group on Facebook, and I started with my family and in my process of sort of decolonizing my family, and it's now grown to be a group for anyone who wants to join, and we have a lot of amazing research that pours in. And this is one interesting tidbit that someone sent, that maybe Magellan actually caught wind of what is now known as the Philippines much earlier than 1521, back in 1511. And so this is just a little, there's always interesting details that are being added right now. Some of you may be familiar also that there was an anniversary of Magellan's crossing around the world and being sort of the world's, you know, most famous navigator. And there was can't remember if it was Disney, but it was like a cartoon that was depicting the story of Magellan from, you know, the perspective, the bias of Magellan, and, you know, made Lapu Lapu made him look like, yeah, you can go ahead to that slide, made him look a lot like a buffoon, and a lot of Filipinos were up in arms about it, and so yeah, there's a definite need for us as Filipinos to check the narrative of that and be, you know, clear as much as we can. You know, most of the accounts that we know about Lapu Lapu are through Pigafetta, who was the chronicler for Magellan, and yeah, to his credit, is, you know, one of the reasons why we have, you know, historical source of information based on what they could view. And yeah, if you haven't read the book Balangay by what's his name, Scott, somebody put it in the chat, who knows, he was one of the most noted modern historians that collected all of the main texts that were primarily Spanish, because our ancestors at that point they did have some script in some places, the Babaylan and the various versions of the script, but they also were more of an oral culture. So yeah, March 16, Magellan sighted the mountains of And then he arrived, and this is said to be the first documented time of the Europeans entering the archipelago. And he ordered his men to anchor their ships on the shores of Homon
Homonhon.
Island. And there Magellan befriended Raja Kulambu and Raja Siagu, king of Limasawa, who guided him to Cebu. And there he met Raja Humabon, the Raja of Cebu. And it's then that if you go forward, we'll see Raja Humabon along with Datu Zula. They were baptized into the Catholic faith and taking Christian names and drank some blood. And this is where the image of the Santo Niño, if you go one forward, that we know today is comes from, and it has a correlation. Some historians say to an indigenous deity that is a child figure that
You have one?
if somebody's mic needs muting.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me find it.
Yeah, so here's the depiction of the queen of I don't have her name with me right now, but she was renamed Juana, and was known to these famous images kind of reveal the adopting of the Santo Niño, who they have a religious story about how it survived some destruction, and was they spun it into this kind of propaganda around how they embraced Christianity through this miracle. But what we're learning, as I said, is that there's a earlier deity that's been found as well that represents another indigenous form of connection to that image. And you can see it today if you've been at the Sinulog festival, which is originally a pagan water ceremony, water festival that has been in modern times recrafted as a commercial event, but as also like a depiction of the willing Christianization of the native people. But what's particular about this story today of Lapu Lapu is that there were those who did not go along with bending the knee to Spain. And there came a point where they were wanting to give their what do you call it? The things that show their loyalty to the King of Spain, and they said that they had trouble with one Datu who was not obeying the order. Who I've read some backstory, had maybe, I think he was actually a brother of the queen who had become Christianized, but there was some sort of bad blood between him and Humabon, and Humabon was seeing the opportunity to rid himself of a rival enemy, and so he was asking for the help of Spain. So this was the directive of Humabon to send Spaniard soldiers to take over to vanquish this chieftain Lapu Lapu in the island of Mactan, and this is where the Cebu airport is right now. And this is also where they do, if you go forward one slide, where they reenact the battle of Mactan. So that is also connected to how Duterte in recent years chose to mark Lapu Lapu Day as a day that honors the heritage of Filipinos and the heroism and such. So what's also notable about the battle is that it reveals to us that Filipinos had a lot of skillful knowledge in their fighting arts. They knew how to battle people in armor, and had their strategy for dealing with them without having their own metal armor. And they worked with their knowledge of the land and using favorable conditions with the rocky outcroppings and coral near the beach to stage their battle and force them to anchor their ships away from the shore where they couldn't use their cannons. And when the landing came of Magellan's smaller force, I think it was under 40 people. They were immediately attacked with a heavy barrage of a range of weapons like arrows, iron-tipped bamboo throwing spears, probably what's called bangkao, fire-hardened sticks, and even stones. And they surrounded Magellan's landing party, attacking from the front and both flanks. And then and demoralizing the troops. And then they the musketeers and crossbowmen on the boat tried to fire from the boats for about 40 minutes or so and couldn't do any damage that way. And the light armor and the shields of the natives were vulnerable to European projectile weapons, and so they kept distance that way. And then Magellan, hoping to ease the attack, set fire to some of the houses, and this just made the people more enraged. And then Magellan was hit with a poisoned arrow through his unarmored legs, and then they charged and got into close quarter combat. And at that point, his men were, fleeing back to the boats. And it's known that Magellan was not able to be retrieved and was kept, and his body kept. And when they asked for his body, Lapu Lapu said he refused, and instead it was a big part of their celebration and feast of victory. And some of those soldiers survived the battle and returned to Cebu, and then were poisoned apparently in a feast given by Humabon. So there's a bit of Game of Thrones things going on here. So this effectively deterred the spreading of colonialism into the Philippines in that time period, and it wouldn't be until the return of the Spanish sometime later with Legazpi that they were able to continue. So yes, we know that the Visayas was, the first place in the Philippines Christianized 50 years before they went to Luzon. And this is also why there's much more, there's more Spanish influence in the Visayas, in our language, in our skin, in our culture. But it is important to note that not all were just, going along with Christianity. And, I think there was also some interesting things to look at in how Christianity had some parallels to some of the indigenous beliefs around an afterworld as well. And maybe that's partly why it was easy to adapt it. But there were also uprisings throughout the Visayas as well, and it's important to recognize there were resistances in other places as well. So that's a little bit of history just to bring us into today's time when we are going to join together now and shift things over to what we can do in our homes and self-isolation and as a part of our spiritual warriorship as well. So I'm going to pass this over now to Datu Shishir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mabuhay tayong lahat at maligayang araw para kay Datu Lapu Lapu. I'm gonna share to you ang makapuso, ating heartfulness meditation, so we can utilize this to strengthen ourselves, our mind, our body, and our heart. Can everybody hear me? Okay, great. I can come a little closer and make myself a little bit more, you can hear me better. So this particular training and exercise had been in our culture because Filipinos are very religious people. We're spiritualists, more than religious actually. We are connected to the nature, to the spirit, and to our family. And that's where our strength lies. So we use chanting, we use prayer, we use rituals, and everything we do is we offer to God. And this is our strength.
While we're waiting, I'll just share a little bit more about Shishir because in case you haven't read their bio, I posted, but some of you as younger kids and stuff may have actually seen Shishir when you were watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was Shishir playing Michelangelo. So yeah, a lot of us met Shishir before we even knew it. You can also find some of his action roles on YouTube. And yeah, like there's a little bit of a parallel to the sort of Bruce Lee story from a Filipino sort of angle. And yeah. And here in Vancouver, we've also had some Hilot workshops with Shishir. So if people are interested, we might be able to do an extended Hilot workshop if people are interested. Thanks, Maria, for reminding the name for Barangay, the book I was mentioning. It's William Henry Scott. And if you can ever get a copy of that book, it's worth a lot of money. If you can get it in the Philippines, it's good. Yeah. You can also read it online for free as a PDF. And in Vancouver area, you can borrow the book from the library. Its biggest focus is on the Visayas, but it does include Luzon as well. And someone else mentioned that Shishir has a book on the Balisong. I'll show it in the, let's see, yeah. And we had a Balisong Filipino knife fighting workshop with him not too long ago, and it was a lot of fun. So if you can find the practice Balisong you can use to train. Sounds like Babette's back. Yeah, maybe while we're waiting, if there's anybody who wants to share a little bit about how they've been getting back into Filipino martial arts, how it's come to them, if they have any short story they can share with us. I think we even have someone from France who does Arnis in France. I think they want to share. They can tell us a cool story if Floyd Quintos told me about Batala and Jesus. Yes, we'd love to hear this story. can we unmute Angela?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's unmuted. Go ahead, Angela.
Thank you very much. I thought about this story because I was thinking about Catholicism and the way that it was used to colonize the Philippines. So Floyd Quintos, I don't know if you know him. He collects anting, and he did an exhibit last year in Paris. So he told this really cool story actually about Batala, which I'm sure most of you know is like a Zeus in one of the many pantheons of the Philippine polytheistic cultures. And Jesus approached him as an and he kind of looked like an old man, and Jesus tried to baptize him, but Bathala didn't want to, so he crawled under a giant shell, and they engaged in this sort of Jedi battle of spells. So, you know, like the earliest spells, they're these words of power, so they were like throwing these magic words of power at each other, and they arrived at a standoff. And so Bathala said, okay, you can baptize me, but you only get my littlest finger. And so he stuck his his littlest finger out of the shell, and Jesus was so tired that he was like, fine, I'll take it. And so he baptized Bathala's littlest finger. And I really like this story because one of the things that I really love about the stories of pre-colonial Philippines is that you learn, you know, it was a series of maritime port kingdoms, and they were defined by their adaptability and the many cultures that were sort of like cross-pollinizing and leaving things with us. We were super promiscuous in terms of what we believed. And what's great about this story is that it's based on this idea that Catholicism was sort of an affordance that the old gods deigned to put on that didn't really mean very much to them, because they understood that this was a thing that would come and it would go and they would outlast it. So yeah, that's the story that Floyd Quintos told me about Jesus and Babylon.
Salamat, Angela. Any other short stories from anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. Oh, I wanted to share also a story. Thank you for sharing, Angela. Another story told from another story by Ambeth Ocampo. I actually have a 4-hour recording of him just telling lots of stories in Iloilo, but one of them being sort of a part retelling of the battle with Lapu Lapu and Raja Mabon. And I don't, he says it so well. He's such a great storyteller and historian, but I think there's also like context to think about in ways that these figures were used politically. Raja Humabon coming from a lineage of also from this foreigner, outsider lineage from the Chola dynasty from India, lower Prince Kingdom, lower like princely kingdom states of southern India, and integrating into the island of Cebu. Him being the grandchild of Sri Malay, Sri Malay, who is originally from southern India. You know, when Raja Humaban was given when he started speaking to the Spanish colonizers who arrived, he was interested in a sort of local politics because of this conflict he had with Lapu Lapu, because Mactan was not a place that he had a appropriate trading network with. And if you know that, you know, Mactan and Cebu are just right there. It's just a bridge now that connects them. Sure. I just to tell that story, you know, when Raja Humaban received the Santo Nino, it was a chance for him to further consolidate the political state that him and his brothers were yielding across Cebu. And when he sent Magellan over, it was actually low tide. So it was also a matter of the right timing in the moon cycle, where when the Spanish got off the ship, they realized they had to actually park their ship far away from the shore and then walk along the way. And that walk along the way was where the battle happened, and they were able to stop them before they arrived. Yeah, I want to offer to Shishir.
Everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you.
She's sorry.
And Mika. And Micah too.
Here we go. This is the Maharlikanization. We make things work. All
Just-
right.
Just so you know, you're backlit. So if you can do anything about that you're backlit.
Maybe switch
Okay.
over to the other side, or yeah, draw the blinds or something.
Okay. All right. There it goes.
Is that better?
Bit better. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
All right. So let's go back into our prayers, our rituals, our spirit, and that is what really our Maharlikan culture. I want to use the word Maharlika instead of Filipino because now we know already that we are named after King Philip, and so there's a word now being passed along that we are actually Maharlikan people of the Maharlika nation, which means great creation. We are great creators. So let's go to some of the breathing exercises, some mindfulness, some heartfulness, and spiritual culture that we have been passed on generation to generation. We are a spiritual being more than anything else. We love nature, we love our family, we love our culture. We are basically maligayang tao. We are heartful people. But due to all the devastation that happens in the Philippines, colonization, we lost our spirit. We lost our heart. And so these exercises, myself, I have gone through years and years of study, travel, and understanding who I am. Now I feel that I have fully conquered myself. And so I would like to share with you my warrior spirit. So there are many forms of prayers and meditation. I use chanting, as you can see, dancing, chanting, musical instrument. There's quietening down. There are several forms of incantative chants or songs that we always praising the universe, the Bathala. Bathala is our name for the for God, and everything that we do. Say in Philippines, the older people, they are always offering, always praying, always saying that, oh, salamat po, salamat po. They're always grateful and thankful and surrendering to the source. So I will do more techniques because obviously our time is short, but you can do at home. So in chant, you can basically connect that with your breathing. So you say, for example, I have several chants that I do. You can say Bathala, you can say Mahal Kita, you can say Babanam. So you can chant it in pure synchronized, say Bathala, Mahal Kita, Bathala. It can be Om continuously. Oh, maligaya, puso, Bathala, salamat po. So, you know, over and over in our head, it's like a mantra. Or you can be moving. You can say, Bathala, mahal kita, salamat po, Bathala, salamat, salamat po, Baba, Baba, Bathala, Bathala. And then, you can do all of those different techniques of chanting, different movements of breathing, and these are all energy, lakas that we are trying to develop in our hearts. So that is a form of movement and chanting meditation. And the quietening down is basically just feeling. As you know, Filipinos are loving people. And so we have to love ourselves. We have to develop that joy and love to our heart. And our palm is pure of energy. We gather energy. This is a part of the spiritual healing that our forefathers had given to us. So by opening your palm and feeling the energy from our surroundings and around us, we are accepting this love, this joy, and this healing. And then you can place this in your heart. And you smile to your heart. And you send good energy to your heart. And you send healing to yourself by forgiving yourself for whatever there is energy block, let it go, and smile there. Ngumiti sa puso. As well as you offer this forgiveness to others, and then you just let all those hesitation, doubts, guilt, all those arrogance, all those negativity in your heart to let go and allow the energy of the universe of Bathala to guide you and to be with you, and be thankful for that. So yun ang gratitude exercise natin, is ngingiti tayo sa puso. Ngiti, pasalamat, at magmahal. Ngiti, salamat po, at nagmamahal. And then follow that with a breathing. Inhale and exhale. And then just let that energy flow in every part of our body, our mind, and continuously all throughout our surroundings. So you do this every day, and you will develop that joy and love. That's the ultimate goal, is for us to be able to go back into our pusong mapagmahal. Okay, I will proceed now to some of our warrior exercises, the martial art. See, the martial art of the Philippines came through progression of self-defense. There is no really particular arts where we do, series of combative exercises, because a lot of our training is amalgamation of self-defense. We're always protecting ourselves. So even in sitting down, I can be sitting, my hand can move. And as you can see, my movement, this is called the sawali move. You know, I can have my stick, or I don't have to have a stick. And this two circular movement is our sawali. Sawali is the weaving of hats. If you can see, I have my bandana in my head. You know, I can use this even to be able to, as a black. You know, this is, everything that we do is basically a way for us to defend ourselves. So there are many forms of sawali. This is circular sawali. There is cross sawali. Cross sawali is more like a triangle in an A-frame, and all of that basically blocks this way. And then the redonda sawali, it comes from, it's like swimming. You are basically moving this way. So all of that motion is basically, if it is a sword, if you can see the sword, it is wailing there. It can be a short sword, it can be a long sword, it can be a spear. So everything that we can see, everything that we can touch is a form of weapon, a form of shield to be able to protect ourselves. And of course, our nature, we are a hunter. When we are in the Aita time, we hunt. So we have the spear, we have bolos, we have rocks, and even the migration of the Bornean Datus, they have different weaponry. And so all those different weaponry is used according to the distance. You know, if I stand up now, obviously this is called the largo. The largo is a long movement. And if it is corto or short, it's more of a very close quarter. This is the knife fighting of the Philippines because, you know, they are in Esquinita, a little barrio, no much space, and we're little people. So our movement become fast. It's like a tappy drill. So we use the elbow, we use the knee, we use our headbutt, and we can even bite if we need to. So the form of martial arts in the Philippines is basically practical, it's simple, and it works. You know, we're small people, we're fast, and we disappear quickly because we are always used to being surrounded, you know, by bigger, more, more armed people. So a lot of our fighting is underground. We're like guerrilleros. We're always undergunned, underpowered. It's so we have to use our fighting spirit to be able to battle, and that translates our culture. As you can see, each and every one of us, you know, we are known to survive. Filipinos has that fighting spirit to survive. Our own enemy is ourselves. And by us understanding who we are, to be proud Maharlikan Filipinos, we will be able to conquer our own demons. Because all of those guilt, all of those things that happened to us in the past is still, it's like garbage that we're carrying. We have to learn to let go. That's why it's important to forgive. Forgive yourself first. That's why healing, natural healing, is embedded in our culture. And that's probably why Christianity become, sort of a religion that kind of tied up into our spirituality, because it talks about forgiveness, it talks about service, and of course, Jesus Christ is just a wonderful person. But at the same time, we have to adopt that into our day-to-day life. We cannot rely on somebody, and this is what's happening in Philippines now. Philippines is going through changes already, but we are the one who's going to make the change. We cannot rely on the president or our government officers to do it. We have to change first ourselves. So anyway, I know I only have a few minutes, and so I would like to, either open the discussion, or if there's anything you want me to work on. Babette has been my good friend for a long time, and she's showing me some stuff that maybe I should also do. So again, I'm gonna just show you some of the warriors art. So in Filipino arts, it's basically hacking. Hacking is like just moving, just cutting. All those cut, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the cinco teros. There's many forms of fighting in the Philippines. So many, because each master, when they attain that mastery, they end up like doing their own, name style, depending where they are. But all of them in similarity. You will always see what a Filipino martial arts is compared to Japanese martial art or into Chinese martial arts. So in Philippine martial art is moving. It's like a dance. You're always kind of moving, and in hacking way. All my hack is also a defense. As you can see, my defense, I will counter that as well. And my counter is a block and counter. And then I have my palo. May papalo ako. Meron akong pawitik. Wiwitikang kita. O otsohin. Walo. Meron pang, mga ito. Paikot-ikot. Pasaksak-saksak. Patusok-tusok. Punyo-punyo. Sungkiti-sungkiti. May banda-banda. Banda rito, banda ron. Encounter. And then may mga disarming yan. May mga disarm. Pag ikaw ay hinataw ko, if I hit you, if I hit in one strike, I can go in and lock you with my stick or lock you with my own hand. So meron na tayong buno, meron tayong suntok, may sipa, merong elbow, kompleto. And that's what the nature of Filipino arts is. And not only that, it comes from our culture. We can be a cook, we are good guitarist, we are a good farmer, we are good family people, we are a great lover of life. And so that is the power of Filipino, of Maharlikans, is so rich. When I discovered it over, I told you I went to the mountain in the Philippines after my heyday in Hollywood, and I just lost everything. And I just decided to stay there because I was working with Aitas in my farm, and so beautiful because they have nothing and yet they have everything. Today, you will probably see my Facebook, Shishir Inocalla. We don't have one case of COVID-19 is not in Camarines Norte. I have a farm there I'm developing. It's 250 hectares with, with ocean and 3 mountains. We are devoting it into cultural, Filipino heritage culture, agriculture, that kind of thing. We don't have one case of COVID-19. And so that just says that, all this pandemic, all these, I guess, viruses are in the form of energy. We created it. And so we can also send cure to that. Everybody can be affected by the same virus. But in our heart, if we absorb this, we just cage ourselves in the room and feeling like the world is upside down, we are going to be not in a good shape. But, find a way to be able to breathe. Every day you can, if you cannot go outside, go and move at home. If you can go outside in your grass, feel the grass, feel the trees, because absorb wonderful fresh air, as well as talk to people. Like, I love working with you because I just see great people, great Filipinos that really have a good heart to make some real change, and that change comes from within. And of course, it's important that what we do, what we say, what we we have to do it ourselves. Try to speak less, but meant well. Think only that is good for others and nothing ill in our mind. And do things, even though 1 or 2, that is good for ourselves and to others. So that is what Makapuso is all about. That is what meditation, our tradition, teaches us. So stay in that culture, stay in that happy heart, at bring joy and love, maligayang puso sa ating lahat. Salamat po.
Shishir, I think you could have maybe 10 minutes more. If you could just, is there something that we could practice while we're in self-isolation that might be good even for us to feel safer also when we're, going out into public? There's, increased racist attacks against Asians going on right now. There's just a general fear. So just having something that gives us confidence that we have something we can feel strengthened by also Is there something that, some people might have practice knives or sticks, but you can also always use your empty hand. Is there something we could learn that you could use whatever you have on hand?
Yes, that is so true. I go out. Actually, I follow the rules. I follow the law, but I just cannot stay home. So that means I go to the beach. You see my son there. I go to the beach every day just by myself, and just basically, it's all about energy. The virus is all about energy that we don't see, but powerful enough to affect our heart. So first important is for us to be able to lift our heart, have that joyful self, that self-care, that self-love. So before you get up in the morning, you already inspire yourself. Oh, salamat po. Thank you po. Salamat. Breathe, relax, and patawarin ang sarili. Let go of all those things that's holding you back. And so, with that feeling of heartfulness, that immediately gives you an instant push in the morning. And then, so after you do that, so that starts with your heart. That's your heartfulness. And then, pass it on to your breathing. So, you breathe already. When you breathe, salamat. Inhale, magandang hangin. Exhale, release all those tension and tightness. So your breathing is already flowing with joy and love from the heart, and then you start to move. Start to move your fingers, start to move your neck, and always be grateful that you're able to do this right there and then, na nakahiga ka pa lang, you're already warming up and feeling all this good energy flowing into your body. And then you drink a glass full or 2 glass full of water. Drink as much as you can, and then walk around, and you will feel like 10 minutes, I want to go to the washroom now. So it's important to clean not only your mind, not only your heart, but your physicality. Kasi, siyempre, kapag hindi ka napapa-uo, you're bloated inside. So you want to clean your stomach. So, you want to clean that stomach quickly in the morning. And then after that, then you do your exercises. That's why I teach also yoga, because actually Filipinos are, we are yogis. We're yogis in the, we're called the tantric yogis. So you just stretch, breathe, and then stretch sideways, that kind of thing. So you are now making your body alive and well. And then after doing that, so you're doing alignment, and then you do your lakas flow. Lakas flow is like moving in a very slow motion. It's like Tai Chi. So the first is the makapuso, your emotional, your body, your stomach, you cleanse, and then your alignment. Alignment is like your yoga, your warrior pose, that kind of thing. And then you will now do your flow, because this is your energy workout now. You are not physically moving, but you're moving your energy with a smiling heart. You've got to have a smile. And then you will slowly now do a little bit of cardio. And I do it like, I will crouch, I will move this way, depending how you can. It's like a dance. I'm going to do a push up this way, and then I'm going to jump. I'm going to then I will get my weapon already, and I'm going to start hacking the air and all that. And then, so I will slow down. I will slow down my exercises, and then I will finish it with love and joy in the heart. So all of these exercises is basically a natural form of wake up. You can even sampal yourself. Wake up. This is another another thing that you can do is you wake up yourself, because we are alive. We have to rejoice ourselves. Every time you wake up, you have to inspire yourself that, oh, things are beautiful. Everything is going to work out. And thank you, Bakala, for giving me this opportunity to serve and to be able to share. And of course, in martial art, like I said, the best thing you can do is do your circulo block, your sinawali block, because all this you're covering your face, and it's not you know, they don't think it's martial art. You're just saying, oh, sorry po, uuwi na po ako. Uuwi na po, pero block na yan. Block na yan. Dahil pag block mo yan, tamo yung elbow ko. Yeah, my elbow can hit already. And then I can grab already here. My knee is here already. So all of those is mga sorry natin. Pasensya na po. Aalis na po ako. Bye. So all of those important is for us, for our heart, not to be tainted, that we lose courage, that we lose the spirit. So just move in circle, flow. I just do this every day. You know, just flow, circle. I can chop, I can cut, I can block, I can do my palo, I can do my ocho, I can do my latigo, I can do my saksa, I can do bandarito, bandaron, and then I always finish it with makapuso. Smile to the heart and be thankful. Salamat po.
Some question.
Yeah.
So there's just some questions
Yes.
I'm seeing online. Do you have any values?
Oh, yes, yeah. I have some Balisong books. And I'm coming out with my second part of my heartfulness meditation. As you know, my first book was about mind, about orasyon. Now it's about makapuso. It's about the heart. No more brain. I get out of the brain. It's now about love and joy. And hopefully by this month that's going to be out. But yeah, I have several books in Balisong, and I don't the Balisong is you know, my daughter borrowed it. Told her not to use it, but but Balisong is basically, it's like of my finger. See, that finger can move. See, it can move in circles. So that Balisong is like ocho figure. So once you do that, and then so when you have the, you know, technique of the flipping of the knife, the one handle flips, and so it's a very what you call you know, it attracts you because it has that flow, that circle that moves. So by circle, you can move in the other hand, and so it's like weaving. The Balisong is actually, I call it the triangle forces of the body, mind, and the heart. It's our spiritual, like if Japanese a samurai, we have the Balisong.
Where do you get your book?
My book, I have it at home. It's not in circulation anymore, but let me know. I will, you know, I will deliver to you. You can just probably donate whatever. I think I still have about, you know, maybe 50 books with me. And I teach. I have, you know, Saturday and Sunday. I have a virtual class that I conduct. And so that's Saturday and Sunday. And of course, I have also other classes that goes on. You know, this pandemic had been great for me because when I got locked down, now I'm in Vancouver. I've been here since it got locked down, and so I'm able to write books. I'm able to, you know, do my film. I'm doing a film, and also I'm organizing Arnis in BC, and now we have also invitation to do the same in Ontario and in Alberta. So, you know, that is what I'm saying about the importance of doing, to be still, to be nothing, to do nothing. This pandemic times is time for us to know who we are, to be able to learn things from doing nothing. And by not doing nothing, there is going to be more that's going to come in because we will empty our cup. And it's not always going. It's about staying still and being one with yourself and letting the universe to work with us. We are basically, we cannot do anything. We're just an instrument of this whole universe. And the more we understand that, you know, we are in partnership with the universe, that we are all one, then we can actually do some changes.
Salamat, Shishir.
Salamat. That's our new bowing now.
That's your new bowing.
Now we have, okay. Hope to see you. Come to my virtual class every Saturday and Sunday. And Kathara have been behind me all along, and now I am back in Vancouver. Salamat po.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here with Shishir, my very first martial arts teacher. Datu Shishir was pretty much a person that I had to find. When you find, I don't know if I find like any Filipino martial art or Filipino knowledge system, it takes a lot of heart and a lot of listening to find that art form. And sometimes it finds you. And when it finds you, you have to really hold on to it because sometimes it's hard to find. And I think our ancestors do that intentionally to also protect our knowledge systems and give it to us when we're ready. So I've known Shishir for about 20 years, and it's exciting to have known him in many ways. My first steps of decolonizing, where we performed in Plaza of Nations in 2002, I believe. Sobey was there too, but it was acknowledging the Philippine-American War. And it was a spoken word piece that I did with actually topless and with buttock markings on my body. And the title of that piece was called Ang Dapat Gawin, It Must Be Done. And that was my first like real steps into decolonizing and spoken word and theater and Filipino martial arts forms. So it's amazing to see where we are over time and where he's been, whether I've been contacting him through them just through online when he's at the mountain and then when he's come back here. And so it's been quite the journey to come now here and be able to share the medicines during pandemic times. And yeah, so what I am really grateful for is what I've been learning through Kathara Philippines, Kathara Davao. What I've learned was Kung Tao. The Kung Tao martial dance is a dance that I feel embodies the sense of halo our culture is, because Kung Tao is influences that are from other parts of Southeast Asia to China as Islamic influence, you name it. And it's just a really highly evolved martial arts, just like our Filipino martial arts, sticks and swords and our weaponry. That is it. We are an evolving people. And it's, you know, there's a reason why it's practiced globally, because it's evolving and it's pretty deadly. And it's sustained our people. So it's important, I feel, to continue our martial arts that taps into that warrior spirit, the martial art I've been practicing has been more slower. I like what Shishir is saying, going more of the slower flow to kind of be more present and have the self-awareness to listen to what your body is needing right now, what your own wisdom and your heart is telling you. So it is a lot about like that wisdom of our heart right now. So I'm going to start with sharing the Kum Tao. The dance, I love, by the way, Vancouver. We're on the blessed unceded Coast Salish territories, and I know that many are martial arts systems, Southeast Asian. The masters have all gravitated here, and a lot of other spiritual traditions. We are blessed to be here, you know, by this on unceded ancestral territories of the Coast Salish peoples. Our Tsleil-Waututh, the Squamish, and Musqueam, they offer their land, and the spirits of this land offer so much medicine. And I just want to give gratitude to the spirits and our Nanuno who have guided us to be here, and that we have this medicine of so many masters like Guru Louis Lindo here, and also the Pikiti Tersha family under Maelstrom, and then the Illustrissimo method as well with Guru Louis. So we are really abundant here. If you're just beginning that journey, I do recommend, we'll maybe put a link to some of the amazing teachers that we have here. But I'm going to start with the Kun Tao. But in the beginning, I'd like you all to really connect. We're going to connect with one another. I'm just going to try this out. We're going to do, because I'm adopted Bagobo, I'm Kapapangan Bisayan, but I want to show you Pagaspas in your own space, which is really important that we continue to bless our own homes and clear energy. So just start with flicking your wrists like this and your shoulders. This is Bagobo, Bagabawa tribe I'm showing you, and you're flicking your wrists. Okay? Now I want you to find somebody on the screen and you flick somebody there and bless. I'm gonna bless you, Michelle. I'm blessing you. Okay? The thing is, we're doing this all virtually, but we have to bring the medicine through. Okay? So find somebody there. Lyndon, I'm gonna bless you. Olivia, San Rodriguez, Kayoko, you know, like this is what we gotta do, is like move the energy, right? So I'm blessing, I'm flicking my wrist up high, and then go to your parts of your room. Just bless every corner. Go to the bottom and high. Bless it. Breathe. Breathe. Find your own pulse of blessing. It can be really fast. And of course, if you have the instrument, that's even nicer. If you have, some of you have agon, some of you have, you know, sticks. Even the sound of sticks changes the energy. So this is the agon, right? Gives you a sound. So you continue flicking. Continue flicking like this, like that. Stretch up. Feel the air around you. You're standing like that, and then we're gonna do a little step. It's called miss. And my feet are just like little steps. And I actually advise you to try doing this with your bare feet on the ground. Right now, Mother Earth wants to really connect to us. So I'm just doing these little steps and turning my torso. And you can flick like this. Okay. And then I'm coming to you all. I'm doing the little miss steps. Shaking my hands out. Coming up. Rising. Up. Going down, then up. Then rise, and then come down. So a lot of our energy and our movements in Southeast Asia go to our fingertips, to the tips of our feet, or with the flex foot too. like that. So the Kun Tao is very much like that. So the beginning, I just breathe and circle in your room. I have one hand over my chest. My hands are open like this. And I'm just circulating in the room, in the space, doing a figure 8. It's about our eternal flow. Our flow, our life, our soul is eternal. And a lot of our dance forms, the Pangalai, is an example of the constant flow that we have to continue, that we continue. We're never actually totally stopping. So you've done your figure 8. And then I'm gonna go into horse dance here, like this. I'm just gonna do some of the elements of this dance because I feel like slowing down is important. So we're like this. And the next step is slapping your, let's just breathe it in. So I'm breathing in, releasing when my arm's going down, okay? So actually when we're like this, but the step is slapping, breathing in, and then crossing and going like this, like, and then breathing in again, and then my back, I'm just going like that and tapping. So I'll just do that again. Breathe in, step to the side, quarter like that, tap, breathe in again, and step to this side. And then just push out again. Extend that energy to your ends of your palms like that. Okay? So we got that. How does that feel? Yeah, just know that your thighs will probably burn the next day. So normally, this is it's faster, but I'm showing you the slow version. So I'll just show what it looks like fast. To me, this is the dance. Parts of it is also inspired by animals. So this one's the eagle. So we do our circular motion. Get in touch with your breath. Your figure 8. And find yourself anchored. And then I forgot to mention, then you do one exhale, you go, huh, when you slap, huh. You're gonna expel any of that energy, just like, it gives you that much more strength actually, to propel to the side. So I'm going, huh, step, huh, like that, and then like that. Okay? So I'm gonna do that again, just from here. Huh, huh. And I didn't mention this, but we come closer. I'm slapping, my wrists are like this, and then they go down. So, huh, down. To the other side, huh, down. Huh, down. Tap. And then, we just show both hands out, and the next part is clap. I'm gonna do the part separately. We do a hop. So you go clap, clap, up, down, clap. So I'm inhaling when I'm going up, clap, and out. And Okay, so the bottom part, a lot of the silat, they have, it's also known in the Sikaran, where you're doing like these kind of steps. So the foot blocks. See, I know it more in the martial dance. Like I've done martial arts for a long time, but I've done it more in the dance form. So I get to ask Shishir here. I learn more. So we're doing this step. I'm going to show you the hands again. All right, so how we put it together with the foot part, this is the bottom. I mean, you could do the full hop, or you could just do a little one like this. Whatever feels most comfortable to you. So, hop. Good. I'm just looking to see how you're doing. So yeah, the hands. All right, and the feet. You can just do the hop. Okay, so what we're gonna do is put that together from the top. So circling in your space, figure 8. We're resting, I'm looking, waiting for everybody to start. Awesome. Hold that horse stance. Slap. Tap down. Like an eagle, tap, push out, and clap in the middle and hop. Right? So the next part, the better, the more you go lower, the better. You're saying, I really know this form. So you work to get lower if you can. So the next part is just like this. Slap your foot. Your left. From here. Nice. Wow, I'm impressed. That's looking good. So left foot to your right hand. So you just did this. Like that. All right. This next part might be harder to translate virtually. So we just did this foot slap. This left leg is going to go back. And the upper part of the body's going like this. So this leg swing like that. And this part of the body's like this. So left leg swings back. And then you're lunging, kind of like a warrior lunge, but you're like this with your hands. Right? So you have this position, right? The warrior lunge, and you just switch sides. You pivot. Pivot your left shoulder, and then you're on the other side, and you flip your hands up, and you should be like facing this way. So your jump, slap your foot, right? Pivot, left like this, right? Left like this, and then you're turning like that. Shall I do the whole thing up into there? Okay. So we did. Okay. So we do a circle. Ready? Let's do our circle. Figure 8. Breathe. Go into horse stance. Ready for that, huh? Ha! Slap, tap. Ha! Slap, tap. Push out. Clap your hands. Like that. Left leg swings back. Switch. Like that. And then we just bring our right to here, and then we're back here like this again. That's right. So clap. Like that. Switch. And then pushing out. And then we actually do this again. And then pivot back. And then like that. This is a little bit longer, but I'm gonna fast forward a bit. This after this kind of like, actually we'll do the whole thing. That's right. Okay, so we do this. And slap hook. Pivot, pivot, center, again, hook. And then I'm just gonna fast forward to this part where we go like this. Because it feels really good. Normally I go like this, then that, but I'm gonna let's just do this. We're gonna slow down. Well, let's go the other way. Because I'm not sure what time we're at, but I think that's a good way to slow us down. Do you know what time it is? Should we move to or do you have what would everybody want to do now? 6:31. Checking in. How's everybody feeling with it? I know I'm sweating and I love it. Oh my gosh. The repetition, right? It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say you could go up to 10 minutes more, and then we can go to, if you want more time.
I say everybody get a bit of water right now if you can. Get some water. Tubig ay buhay. Okay. So I'm wondering if people just want to continue as far as what we got now, and I just continue to repeat it so it gets in your body. Does that sound good? Yeah. You want to give me some feedback? Should I go slower, or is my tempo okay in teaching right now? It's good. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to continue with our figure 8. I'll start again. I'm just gonna wait till I see everyone in this position for everybody else to get a good workout. All right. Huh. Slap. Huh. Slap. Tap. Push out. Hop, up, hop. Go down again. Slap your foot. Pivot. And then here again. Out. I like put that in the end. Like let's finish it strong. I think I want to end like that with you because it feels very warrior-like. So smooth, lift up. I'm basically, there's a closer, so feeling the air and the energy, feeling that. Your hands are together. Then all of a sudden it goes the other way. So you're going like this. You're feeling it, but it's also giving you energy to have that momentum. And then lift up. I'm lifting my hands up and my leg. And then like that. So it's slicing, go the other way, lifting up with your leg, then out. Sorry. So yeah. Breathing. You can even do the hop going down so that's more powerful in your stomp going down. I want to see if Jay can play the rhythm. There's a rhythm that goes with this. We could try it with music for the last minutes, okay? Jade? Can you play? Okay. No, not a good time for Jay to join me. So I'll just sound it. This is the sound of the rhythm. Ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba. Ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba. Ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba. Ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba. Join me. Ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba. Ba ba da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba. See that much we have like Gamelon between the like all indigenous groups, they have that drum, that powerful drum that also informs the martial art. So we're gonna do it with your body. Okay? shout. Ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba. Clap. Ba ba da ba da ba da ba. Slap the foot. Ba ba da ba da. Pivot. Ba ba da ba da ba. Ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba. Ba 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 da ba da ba ba. Ba ba da ba da ba. Ba ba da ba ba da. Ba da ba da ba. Ba da ba da ba ba da ba da. Ba da ba. Ba ba da ba da ba. Shortened version. Yeah. Feels different with the rhythm, right? Shall I do it one more time? No. You're good. You should all be very proud of yourselves. All these sweat and tears. 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 I don't know why it's tears. Maybe it's because I feel like our Nuno are actually crying right now that we're doing this. I think
Tears of joy.
tears of joy. They're really happy that we're doing this together and that our energy has been changed and we're lifted. We're lifting one another. Yeah, this has been really exciting to do this for the first time. Any kind of feedback to give us would be awesome. I'm more than happy to continuing doing this, sharing of Kun Tao and any other of my dances like the Bagobo dancing that I know. I'm happy to share that medicine. It's for everyone. And I think the last thing I just wanted to mention that I thought was really cool for you to all find your name. This idea of understanding that every tradition that we have integrates and informs the other tradition. Music informs the dancer, and our writing or our weaving informs our martial art. So I thought, why don't my friend and dancer Tin Gamboa wrote my name in Babaylan here. And I thought there was another thing that I thought was beautiful was learning how to do our name in your martial art form with the Babaylan script. I think if everybody tries this, something will happen. It's like unlocking keys for you. So that's my recommendation with the martial arts. Find out your name, and in its Babaylan form. You see mine there, and then try to do the movement of it. So I have that, and I'm like, oops. I'm like, where's my step? That doesn't feel right. So I have that. I'm like, what strike is this? Datu. It's like Rapida. Watik. Watik. That's a double thing. Oh, I like that. See? So I'm like striking at the neck maybe, and then midway, and then lower, and then I'm coming up. So that's like my name, man. Like that, and then the last part is this. I don't know. It's like this. It's like part of a abanico, and then I strike down. Follow. So it's like this. That's my name. That's Babette. I just done it in Dubai and in our martial art form. So bring that, tap into that. Know that these all connect, but they're not individual. These systems, and that's what we have to continue doing, is knowing that it connects to something else. Okay, that's what I have to say. I love you all, and this has been so awesome.
I'm Babette and Shishir. Yeah, well, with the remaining time, I just thought I'd open it up if anyone has any comments or questions or stories about their practice and how it's helped them. Yeah, anything that you want to share. We've got maybe 15 minutes left, so I'm gonna open it up now. Just unmute yourself if you want to say something.
You're welcome.
Did somebody want to say something? I just wanted to say something about in terms of how, for me, martial arts were something that were offered to me by my parents when I started getting bullied in school. I was like the only person of color in my classroom. And so I got othered and I got bullied, and then I got promptly put in like judo classes and karate classes, eventually kendo. So, a lot of Japanese style. And then eventually later on some Chinese kung fu styles. But there was not a lot of availability that I knew of around learning about. I didn't know anything about Filipino martial arts. But I was definitely, like many, a Bruce Lee fan, and only later I would realize that I was watching, things that he learned from Kuro, Santos, who when you have the double sticks, that scene in Enter the Dragon, that was all Filipino martial arts. So I think it's cool to see that it started to pick up in me when I saw some of this representation. And then later I realized, I met Shishir, and I there was this feeling of family, and I feel like that is something intrinsic in our martial arts, is that that's kind of how it was actually passed on, not as a sport, not as a business, not as anything, but actually as like families being more resilient and preparing each other for uncertainty whenever they might be in need of it. So definitely curious to hear other people on how they tapped in.
Can share something. Hi everyone, my name is Danielle. Thank you for sharing. For those who shared, I am quite new to the Filipino martial arts actually. I started off my movement practice with a thing called color guard, and in color guard you kind of wave around sticks and swords. And so my body already kind of was familiar for some reason. I thought, why is this it feels so familiar, these movements, kind of like what Datu was bringing, like this infinity, this one. And so I always try to find that in, different movement spaces. And I landed on dance and yoga. So when Datu was talking about the heartfelt meditation and the smiling of the heart, it really touched me, because it's still so new to me, but I kind of learn it in a different context, that is dance and yoga. And now that I'm entering into more pre-colonial Filipino studies, and I'm still quite new to this, but I'm very excited to dive in. Now in this time, especially. I'm here in California, Bay Area, so I don't travel a lot, and I understand a lot of you are in Canada. We have the Babaylan House in San Francisco here. I just don't travel a lot. I'm in here in Union City, I'm kind of stationed. But I appreciate y'all opening up space and creating these spaces, because I feel a lot more rooted in the collective and also rooted in myself, and getting a better understanding through our traditional practices. So, salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Please, everybody, feel free to find us on Facebook and Instagram. I'll probably continue to try to just put some martial arts on there. Just like let's encourage one another to do these forms and our traditions and medicines. And I want to see you spell your name. I'm gonna continue to do my last name. That's too. Santos.
I just want to say that it's our time. Our Maharlikan culture, it's our time. No one is going to do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. And it's based on our warriorship. And so martial art is part of our way of life. It doesn't mean that you went to this particular school or that school. That's not important anymore. What's important is our warrior spirit within us. We're born warriors. We're Maharlikans. We're great beings. And we have to talk more about ourselves. We have to promote ourselves more. We have to work together more. And we can do that by starting with ourselves. Learn to love, learn to know yourself, learn to develop this makapuso, heartfulness. That's the new way now of meditation, is to love, starting from within and share that love to everyone. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. Everything is just an expression of love.
Maraming salamat, Kuya Shishir.
Salamat.
Yum yum to, it's Maria, yum yum, in Vancouver. I just want to say thank you so much sa lahat na tinuturo niyo sa amin at sa akin. I was lucky enough with Joy and Sobey to be in one of your classes, di ba? Tinuruan mo kami. And in one of your Hilot classes, Miti sa Puso. That means so much to us and to my fem circle. We try it even when it's really hard. It's like an anchor for us. And I really just wanted to say thank you for layering the love in, and thank you for reminding us that we are warriors. In the class that you taught us that Filipinos, we will survive. So we will use whatever we have. And I think that's an important point when you talk about not having been able to document, because every time I think of martial arts, I took karate too as a child. And there are all these well-documented, well-sold principles of martial arts, and that's not seen necessarily in Filipino martial arts. It's not well sold. It's not known across the planet. And we need to change that, and we can. And also it's because of the way that we have survived in this organic way. And I love that you talked about that. Hi, baby Buaya. I love
my
that you
8-year-old.
come to us. We will do that. And I also, I remember that you taught us that Filipinos had to hide our martial arts, and we had to do it with dance. So we had to pretend that we were dancing, but really we were keeping alive the fight and the movements to martial arts. And that's what Babette is doing with the Kuntao. So thank you, Babette, for what you shared today too. That is the rebellion in us. That is the warrior in us. And rebellion is revolutionary. So thanks for being part of our revolution. Love you both so much. Thank you.
Yeah, that is so powerful for us to be able to understand that we have it all. Now, we may not be educated, we may be short, pangu ang ilong, maitim, maputi, mabaho, kilikili. All of this is part of our culture. We have to love ourselves. We have to be proud of that love.
We had a question earlier from Mikhail, and just asking, for people who have accessibility needs where they might not be as mobile and may not be able to do as many of the strenuous postures. Is there something that you recommend? Just not, we don't have a lot of time, but just something that can get them started in learning something that would be good for their situation.
Yes, like I said, very basic. It's all coming from within, coming from our heart. The first thing that we have to develop is to develop the no fear, and just being brave. And smiling is the best thing to do on that one here. So you smile and then you start to move. And simple movement of this itong circular block, itong sinawali, is a movement already. You can move your body with it, but everything comes from within. As simple as it is, the more simply as it is, the more deadly it becomes. Because then, if you're not aiming, you are not doing any posture. It's a simple movement. Pasensya na, salamat, uuwi na po ako, bye, see you later. Pero that movement is already stopping. That's already blocking. That's already connecting into a defense and counter. And this can be a knife. I may have a balisong in my hand. I may have a toothpick in my hand. All of those little weaponry is an added, instrument. And we don't have to have a weapon. It can be our knuckles. It can be our elbow. It can be our headbutt. So every part of our body is an instrument. Just like our skin protects us from the internal part of our body. Our bone protects us. Our lungs. Every part of our body is like it's like weapon, so that we can develop a strong mind, body, and our heart. And fortunately, in Philippines, we are the model of survivalists. I mean, for generations and generations, we are right here talking to you now. We're still alive. And so the more we understand how strong we are inside, and how passionate, we don't have to be inferior. We don't have to be cowering around. We have to be brave and believe that we can conquer the world, and we can conquer ourselves. Mabuhay! Thank you. And let's continue this, conference, call conference. I have been dreaming about this in the mountain, because when I went to the mountain 5 years, I lost everybody. So when I came out, I've been thinking, how can I connect with? Because as you know, I travel all over the world, but now I want to sit still and still be able to connect to everybody. And so now the pandemic brought us in together. And I'm actually thinking, what we can do is each place, because I'm going to different places, to have some kind of, a core group there. Where, like here, we have Kathara here, and then I have my Maharlika Institute. So we can have somebody there that can, we can connect maybe once a month or maybe once a week, and just to be able to share things, how we can, support one another. And then if I have a time, or if you have a time, you can come to my place. I can come to your place. The world is small now, and it's going to get smaller. What we are going through now, this social distancing communication, is going to be here and will be more. So get used to, having long distance training already. I was training since I was 12 years old, different master. But I never stayed in one place, because they disappear. They teach me and then they disappear. They teach me. It can be in a bus station where training. It can be a train station. It can be in a plane. And it's the world is like that now. Masters can come and then they can go. Most important is the knowledge. Once we prepare our heart that we are ready, the knowledge is going to be there. And so many masters, can be in the YouTube, in our tube now. That I may not be able to have a chance to meet those people, but with this technology now, we have all this knowledge. Each and every one of us has that knowledge to share.
Yes, may we continue in this way to stay connected and build this COP1 network, and be able to eventually also do these as our initiation rites, especially for our youth. It's our generations that are alive today that are going to forward the ability for us to have a connection to our ancestral lands, and with the practices, before people might have that difficulty in locating these things. So we are building that's a new structure. That's what's happening astrologically right now. We are in a time of knowing that structures need to change, and we are bringing those in. So we need to stay strong and not be distracted by all the things that you could waste time doing right now that are not relevant to that new change. And as we are doing all of our work and all our networks, you can see that this is all going to be very valuable for what we can pass on as our legacy. And that legacy definitely connects to Lapu Lapu and to our ancestors who were there defending the lands at the very beginning, and not not bending the knee despite the odds. So let's also remember our Lumad, who are also fighting for their indigenous rights to this day, and let's put our strength behind their battles as well. And they also carry a lot of the living systems. If any of you get to watch that Lumad film, Dream, what is it called? Dream Weaver, or it's the one where the Tibuli weave the patterns from their dreams. You'll see authentic Tibuli indigenous martial arts in that movie, so check it out. Anyway, it's so exciting to be with you all, but it's time to ring our bells here. It's 7 o'clock in Vancouver, so we're going to recognize all the frontline workers who are helping us during this crisis. And have a good night to you all.
Maybe a parting shot. Thank you everyone who had donated to the webinars and the workshops today and from the past months. We'll be updating you with our work, and Sobey had already shared with you how to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We were joined up by about 38 participants from all across North America, I believe from Honolulu and Paris, and a couple, I believe, from the Philippines. So really, really good energy. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you po.
Salamat.
Salamat po.
Salamat. Ingat. Oh, salamat.
Virtual bless for all of you.
Salamat.
Let's go.
See you soon, I hope.
Say hi to my dog.
Tita.
Tayo. Baka na.
Buaya. Oh, buaya.
Buaya.
Oh, I love you guys. Ligaya.
Thanks, Olivia. Thanks, Michelle and Hugo.
Hi, JR.